Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Easy Sim channel here on YouTube. Yes, thank you for coming, and we're going to do the, as we say, the pre-flight inspection for the PA-28 Warrior 2 by Just Flight. It's been quite an interesting model to work with, and it's been fun for the simulator. And so we are using Simulator FSX Steam Edition. So here we go, we have the plane opened up for the day. And yes, I want to remind everybody to please go to a flight academy or look in listings for a CFI. This is only for entertainment. This cannot be flight instruction. We're just commenting. So here we are. We do have the plane opened up for the day, or for the morning. We're doing the inspection, so we're going to look around real good. Yes, that navigation light should not be on. I know this was a pre-saved flight. It was reloaded. That was on. That's okay. Yeah, there might be a few flaws here with this simulator, but that's okay. We'll just go through and just give a good look around at everything. Just make sure that nothing's amiss, and I will include a link about the inspecting a PA-28 Piper Warrior, just like this one. And so here we go. We have the pre-flight listing, and this gives us a whole list of stuff that we're going to be working on. And so yeah, we'll just have a look. Yeah, I'm wondering what happened to the wheel fairings. I don't know. Wheel fairings. Okay, no wheel fairings. I don't know, kind of strange. It's got some strange behavior, this program. There might be some stuff to do in the CFG file, or the, yeah, anyway. So anyway, we'll go ahead and go on and just keep cycling through here. We get inside here, so yeah, it's kind of nice. Got some air today, and so yeah, first things first, we'll check that. Okay, we've got everything open, and yeah, alright, parking brake, it's on, and we'll scooch over here to the avionics, and we'll turn them, make sure they're off. Yeah, they're off. And then set to make sure that, and this is where we want to test the joystick anyway, so we're using the little throttle control on the Extreme 3D Pro. We're using that today, and just for a basic throttle, or I mean a basic flight controls, and then push the button, and that works. And then now we'll check and see. Yeah, the magneto switch is off. There we go. And alright, and then now we need to have the battery master on, so we need to check the fuel. And yeah, there's an exterior check, but look in that link, that shows a complete pre-check for the outside. This is nice because this is the inside anyway. So so what we'll do now is get this battery master turned on. It's we're going to look at those fuel gauges here in just a second. We look at a lot of things here. Okay, so battery master, yep, it's on. There goes the fuel, yep. Alright, and so we got fuel in both tanks. So there's that. We'll check the quantity, and we'll up here and check the annunciator panel switch. This is another kind of strange thing. It gets checked later and it does work, so we'll get to that. And now we'll turn off the battery master, save the battery power. And okay, and then we'll check the primary flight controls. So we'll click on the hot spots and get them back in view, and these are the yokes, and then primary flight controls. Yeah, push them all the way in, move them all the way to the left, pull them all the way back, move them all the way to the right, and push all the way back in, and then let go. And then with the joystick, the rudder pedals just get pushed anyway. Yeah, it's better to have separate pedals, so you normally wouldn't want to put the pedals in and all, because on Piper planes, well anyway. So we'll check that. Yes, there we got the stabilizer is working. I don't know if you can see inside where the controller is. So we got the ailerons going and the stabilizer. And now we'll check and see the yeah, there's the right rudder and the left rudder. Yeah, good. Alright, so good. We got that done. And yeah, the flaps, I'd go ahead and do a lot. We're going to lower down the flaps here and watch them both go together, and they both come up together. And they go through all their stages, and that's correct. And then we'll zoom in a little bit, and we're going to go over here and check. Again, we check the exterior of the flaps, and then there's also the fin down there. That's where the pitot heat is. And then there's also the fuel drains. And that's where you check the fuel like you do on the Cessna. And then if you have contamination, you just keep draining it until you get clean fuel. So we check the little wheel here in the front. And we check just the air intake and the exhaust, and we check the landing light, the lens anyway, check the prop and the spinner, make sure nothing's damaged. Yeah, check under here, under the right wing, again, that fuel drain. Maybe it's a good thing we don't have the fairings, so we need to check the tires. Okay, we're checking these flaps on this wing, and everything looks okay. And, yeah, aileron here, and then also, we're also looking at these these wingtip lights, making sure no broken lenses or anything are here. And, okay, so now we go to the next thing is to check the trim. And it's a little hidden, and so we just have the controls on the joystick. During flights and stuff, I'll list how the controls are done on the joystick. I'll probably put links to it on the YouTube, and so that the November is right there, and that little white mark is right across, so we know that it's on neutral. That's just what we want to do. When the baggage door has to be shut, well, we haven't gotten that done. We've gotten that done. The flaps and ailerons, yes, the wingtips and lights, they seem to be good. They were not damaged. Tie downs will be removed when the plane starts. We've checked already that those will be removed. There's no tow bar. We've checked the oil level. You use that thing to okay, propeller, yep, landing light, we've checked that. Rudder, yep, we've checked that. And we've checked that. We've checked all the tail cone and everything, we'll check that. So the only thing we have left is that baggage door. So what we do on this, it helps to read the PDF, and then basically you push Shift E and then 2 right afterwards. So there we go. And now push 2, and it shuts the baggage door. So now the baggage door is closed. And it's still pretty hot, so we're going to get some air back in here. So we'll unlock the little lock, and then this big goose egg lock. And then push the door, and it's open. So now we'll get some air for a while. So now we've succeeded in closing the baggage door. So that's good. And yeah, let's just check the next page, just be sure. Yeah, okay, next checklist. Before start, yeah, we want to check the brakes, make sure they're working. Or make sure they're on, excuse me. We will check them also, the regular brakes. Now we need to get over here and check the circuit breakers. Be helpful to, kind of nice thing about a sim, you can just click on that and get the yoke out of sight, and then just check all these breakers, make sure they're okay. Yeah, normally I guess in the real world you run your hand over all those, finger over those. I don't see any of them sticking out, but you still want to just check. Not ever had these off, but carburetor heat is off. And alright, and then the avionics is off again, and then fuel selector, yeah, desired tank. We want to start with the left tank since Mr. E is going to be soloing. We want to use up gas on that one first. Yes, the fire extinguisher is working. It's been renewed fairly recently, so we're good. I always want to make sure safety gear is good, and then okay. And now we're going to have engine start, so let's get ready for that. And we will reset the view. It's on button 2, I believe, the big silver button on the side of the... I use it instead to reset the view, and then the other side button, I use it for... okay, yeah, and let's see, so we're going to get the throttle ready, and then you push that, yeah, alright, yeah, you want to put the mixture all the way in. So there's the throttle set. Now we want to turn on the alternator switch, and we want to set mixture rich, yeah, and then we're going to, yeah, okay, we want to set the alternator to on, and the battery master to on, and we hear the little fan coming again, and hear the, ooh, turning on the lights inside, and it's that rotary switch, so yeah, alrighty, and then we need the fuel pump turned on, and then it goes to fuel pressure, yeah, great, that'll just help the engine start up a little bit, and so we got fuel pressure. Yeah, this is kind of weird about Just Flight, about this plane. I don't know if the real plane does that or not, but I think it's kind of strange that the, okay, we get a clear prop through this little window, and you can probably hear it through the door since it's open. And here we go. Now we'll go ahead and I think you right click on these, and you just right click, yeah, there you go. It starts up the engine. There it goes. It's coming on, and you need to set it, and set it down to very low RPM. We're still cold yet. The oil pressure's in the yellow. It's not quite in the green, but then the engine's idling very slowly yet. So the thing that we need to do right away quick is get the avionics turned on, and then we need to get this clock. Oh wow, it's 9 o'clock in the morning precisely. We go over here, start the timer. Okay, so there's a timer, and we'll probably want to run this, maybe want to run this about 30 minutes, we'll see. Yep, 9 o'clock a.m. And the time, okay, there's a timer going, and we'll hide the yoke again, and okay. Now on gate, we confirm the engine is started. Magnetos are set on both. Throttle adjust, just make sure it's. We have a low voltage light on. We probably need to boost up the RPMs just a little bit. And we still want to look at engine temperatures and pressures and just make sure everything's okay. And yeah, we've already checked the oil level. There's a way to do that. And yeah, let's bring that up. Now the low voltage light is off. And the oil pressure comes up a little bit into the green, so we know that that's going to work. So we're just checking our oil pressure. We want to probably leave the idle right about there. It says 800 to 1200 RPM, so we'll leave it at 1000. And okay, that took care of the engine start. And we'll look over here at some more things. And yeah, we're going to check lights and stuff now. We're going to turn on all the navigation lights outside. Yeah, we need to check the taxiing area, make sure it's clear. The parking brake is going to be released. And then so we'll do that. We're going to do the run-up or the ground check in a different place because there is a grass strip behind us and they might be using it. So we'll go ahead and Mr. E won't do the ground check here. We'll do it down the way a bit. And we're making sure all the lights are working and there's the landing lights on. These other lights are on. Strobes and the, yes, this port or left light and the strobe is on. Strobe is flashing. Yeah, the Academy supposedly wants those on because it scares birds. They want everything on, it scares birds, except you can't have the landing light on because of the being on the runway. So that we'll go ahead and normalize and turn the landing light back off here in just a minute as soon as we can. And yeah, turn off that landing light. There we go. And now we're normalized there. Now we'll set mixture for ground. We don't want the spark plugs to foul. And with too much fuel going in, so that starves the fuel somewhat. Not totally. The engine runs poorly if it gets really starved, but it's running with plenty of running well now. So anyway, so we'll go check this taxi area one last time. Better shut the door, and then we'll do the lock the egg lock, the big egg lock, and we'll lock the little round lock. And there we go. So that's done. We'll release the parking brake in just a second, and then we'll apply the throttle, the brakes, and the steering, and okay. So now we'll go to the next checklist. It's the ground check, so we'll go down the way to do that. So we'll hide the checklist for just a second. And let's see, we're looking around, making sure things are okay. And yeah, let's see, well, we'll have that. You don't steer the plane at all with these. You'll see that here now. And so now we're going to do that. We're going to go taxi down to this, yeah, not drive. We're going to taxi down to the, so we have the brake check and the basically we're going to watch the direction indicator and the turn coordinator, and they're the last two things we're going to test. We're starting into the, so we'll raise the throttle just gradually. We're on the grass. Oh yes, we're right there aligned with that tree, that seam, that joint right outside there, and the cowling is right in line with about the center. So we usually set the parking, the taxi stripe right there. And so there we go. We're starting to move very slowly. We're on the grass. It takes a little longer to move. So this is the parking area for Heringsdorf Airport for small general aviation. So we're moving very slowly, and we'll get just about get here to the taxiway. Yeah, and here we go. And yeah, and then the other thing too is you can't put any steering in while you're stopped. So you just start moving slowly first, and then you can put in steering. It's basically you'd be pushing in on the rudder pedals and steer. So we'll just start moving very slowly. There we go. And just push all the way down on the right. I mean on the left, excuse me. And then we just make our turn, and then we get kind of keep that joint right there. And I have tested it outside, but it looks, I believe the little wheel should be right about on that taxi stripe. So we'll continue going, and then we have to go down past all these this hangar. That's the flying club that's here. Yeah, again, if you have a flying club in your town, you might want to give them a check them out, see if they have connections with a flying school or CFI. So that's why I say there's a I imagine there's an academy here that's got these planes and stuff. Yeah, this computer system's a bit slow, so it's been very hard to get the frame rate. So I'm planning on getting a new computer system. I need one anyway, so I'm thinking, well, let's just get as beefy up a system as I can get, and we'll get a good flight simulator installed on there. Make sure it's got enough capacity. Make sure the video card's got enough capacity, because this is doing fairly well, believe it or not. I'm going to overclock this processor some more. It's never been overclocked. And so anyway, this is interesting. And this is Captain 7. I believe that's capt7.de online. This is a free airport. If you have reasonable resources on your machine, you might want to consider downloading this. This is a lot better than what you get in FSX, believe me. And these buildings look so nice. It just looks like there's lots of old stuff around this airfield. It's a big airfield. And so there's a great big apron down here past some of these buildings. And including a taxiway that goes off to a hangar, but it's been closed. It's all fenced. And so I don't know, maybe they're working on these buildings. They've got those orange refuse construction waste containers, so maybe they're going to remodel these buildings. I don't know. And we'll do the tour, the airport tour. We have an early morning airport tour we'll do. And after we've done the check and we're getting ready. So we're still watching our time on the fuel. It's been almost 7 minutes. I'd like to maybe go 30 before we change tanks. We want to use quite a bit up in the left tank, and then yeah, we'll continue moving at a nice pace. It's just a nice slow pace. You don't want to taxi too fast. You want to just take it at an easy pace. And again, this is a rather large airfield. It's quite a long runway, so you have quite a lot of taxiing to do if you do use it. But well, using it, and so we'll continue along here. And then this big apron is coming up here, and yeah, all the fencing is done. Yeah, they got it all fenced off. And then you don't want to turn on this taxiway right here. Nope, we're not going that way. We're going to just go on. And then you can see, yeah, this Foxtrot seems like it's the last taxiway they use. And probably there's enough the runway left. We could take off from here, but no, Mr. E. We'll slowly see now this taxiway hasn't been painted in a long time, so it's kind of like this is just disused down here. So it could be. But here's this big apron where the students, Mr. E. is doing his solo. He's coming out soloing quite a bit, and he wants to use his PA-28, and so that's good. And yeah, they've done a good job at this. You know, got a nice good look to the front here. Yeah, we're watching the DI indicator and the turn coordinator, and that white plane leans, and the DI increases and decreases and whatnot when it goes, so it works. And the brakes work. Okay, so now we've done that check. So now we're just ready to get in position here, so we can get the ground check done. So we'll get that in just a second. Yeah, an old hangar over there. Yeah, just I've seen the fence. You can see the fence, so it's I don't know where that is. But and then that's Joystick Lagoon out past there. We'll see that when we start flying. And then we'll come around, and we've got a good empty place behind us, so we don't need to worry about prop wash or blowing or blasting anyone. And you know, reapply the parking brake because we know we need that. And then we'll shut this little window so you can find a hot spot. It'll close it. There we go. And we'll shut that and latch it. And we'll bring back our ground check. Yeah, ground parking brake is on. Now we want to bring the throttle up to 2,000 RPM. Okay, we're almost going to be 10 minutes on the fuel. We're good. And we'll get down here and look at all these gauges. We're going to have to look at a lot of stuff down here when we run the engine up. Nothing said about the mixture. We'll just go ahead and leave it be. And go ahead and set the throttle to 2,000 RPM like it says. And start watching these. Yeah, we've got the oil pressures in the green. The temperature is good. The fuel pressure is good. Yeah, the oil temperature's warming up. Let's get it up slowly to 2,000 RPM. Okay, there it is. Yeah, right about there. We'll just leave it there. And we'll check the magnetos. And let's see. Alright. Get on left. Yeah, I'm about to have just about 100 drop, and another 100 drop, and we're allowed 175, so we're good. And in between the two, not bad. Okay, now it's going to recover back to 2,000. Then we'll check the carb heat over here. Take it out, leave it a minute, and you know we have about a 40 or 50 drop. Okay, that's good. And we'll go on checking things. Hide that. Check the amp meter. Yeah. And we'll check that. I really want to check the vacuum. Okay, we've done all that. Vacuum. Oil temperature. Yeah, there it is. Okay, it's good. Oil pressure. Yeah, all those are still good. And just making sure. Yeah, and alrighty, and checking those. And yeah, turn off the fuel pump. Watch the fuel pressure, it's still going, so that means the mechanical pump on the engine is still working. And we do check the ammeter, or the ammeter. And this annunciator panel. Now on this test, yeah, those little lights go off, which means it's working. So if any of those should go off, we know something's wrong. We check the carburetor heat, we check the fuel pressure, yeah. And then the last thing to do is simply retard the throttle and get it back down to normal. Normal RPMs, which is a little bit lower. I don't want to have it too low or the low voltage light comes on. I thought it was the love light because it's LV, but it's low voltage. So, okay, so before takeoff, we're going to do that. Make sure those two are on. We basically have our mixture master mags, which is those masters, and that we're not going on a trip, so we don't need to worry about actual ground speed or actual air speed. So we'll just leave that, and then we'll you right or left click here to get the yellow wings aligned, and then we'll push B to get the Q and H set, and we'll use Q and H instead of QFE. We'll just do that. That's on 0, and then we'll set the heading to the runway heading, which is 10 or 103, whichever you want. And we see that's right about, we're at about 90 degrees to that, and so we know that the active runway we need to go down. We'll make a left when we're done with this, and so we're just about checked, and then there's no flag on that turn coordinator, so that's good. Fuel selector, it's on the left tank. The time is good. We still have plenty of time, another 15 minutes or so. Fuel pump is on. We'll make sure, oh, it's on. Okay, now we'll turn it on. Okay, then engine checks. Well, we've looked at those. We've got the oil pressure, the fuel pressure, and the oil temperature, and everything else. Got plenty of fuel. Okay, just mixture. Yeah, we'll leave it set for ground. It's about 60% or so. I set it to, and that primer. Yeah, check to make sure it's locked. Flaps are good. Trim, we already checked it. Controls are free. Okay, let's check that. And yeah, zoom out just a tiny bit. Yeah, alrighty, and check that just real quick, and then normally it's a quick fast check with pilots when we check these. So anyway, so there's that, and then we look at the door, and then the big egg lock is down, and the little white lock is over, because we can see that. Okay, and there you go. So there it is. So we're good, and thank you very much, and we'll do the takeoff in another video. So thanks a lot for watching, and have a good time, and I hope you're entertained. So thank you for coming to Easy Sim.